Welcome to Roller Champions, the free-to-play rollerblading team sport, which can be best described as Quidditch if Harry Potter was written in the 70s. Set in a world 10 years into the future, disco ball stadiums are set up as frequently as tennis courts across the globe, and thick participants beat the ever-loving crap out of each other for the adoration of fans around the globe. The world of Skate Champions follows in the footsteps of many other games that have accurately foreseen the future. After all, Black Ops 2 predicted we'd have microwave weapons, weaponized robo-dogs, and a woman as the US president, and it managed to get most of these things right. To win in the world of Blade Shadow Legends, you and your team of 2 other players need to skate around the Thunderdome, holding possession of the communal ball. You then throw the ball through the hoop to score, which will award more points depending on the number of laps you can make without losing possession. The game ends when time runs out, or a team hits 5 points. The easiest way to win, however, is called the Morbius sweep, which is when your team scores a goal after skating around 3 times, because doing so scores your team 6 more billion points and immediately wins you the game. If this looks like an indie title that managed to escape your notice up until now, then gee fucking whiz would you be wrong, because this shit was actually developed and published by Ubisoft Montreal, previously famous for Far Cry, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and For Honor. It's hard to know where exactly the budget went for such a game, because it sure didn't go toward crowd textures, only fans-inspired player models, game modes, stability, or its non-existent marketing. In fact, you can't even download this shit on Steam. You have to either download it through the Epic Store, or miraculously remember that Ubisoft Connect is still installed on your PC when you decided to download Rainbow Six Siege. I can only imagine the budget went solely toward their surprisingly well-made cinematic trailer, purchasing the vague likeness of a younger Will Smith, and somehow buying the rights to some seriously expensive licensed music. Although we've talked some mad shit about Blade Warriors up until this point, truth be told, it's actually pretty fucking fun, and after playing it ironically, expecting it to be terrible, my friends and I actually came back after I finished collecting footage, as if we had a serious case of Stockholm Syndrome. This is because, hidden underneath this minimal viable product, with its bare bones gameplay, PS3 era graphics, and disappointing progression, there's actually a really fun gameplay loop that keeps you craving more. Boosting from a teammate to perform a high-speed tackle feels really fucking fun. Launching yourself through the goal ring to deny the enemy team is extremely satisfying. And assisting your teammate in a perfectly executed alley-oop will always give you that much needed injection of dopamine. However, nothing in this entire game will ever give you more sheer and unfettered joy than the dumb synchronized disco dance that your team pulls out at the end of every fucking match.
Alright boys, let's do it to him. Yeah!
What the fuck is this game?
There isn't actually all that much mechanical skill needed to play Lucio Ball 2, as most of the actual skill is in the split-second decisions of how you should be occupying your time. Sometimes attempting to dodge like a motherfucker and tangling up the enemy team is the most effective way to make progress. Other times passing off to a well-positioned teammate can cut a lot of your work in half, and sometimes just speed boosting your career is the best thing you can do at the time. In fact, even acting as a bodyguard for your baller can really allow a player to carry without actually touching the ball in the first place, and to be honest, bullying people in a free-to-play game has never quite felt this good. Whether anyone would recommend Skater Boy Brawl over many of its direct competitors is another question entirely. It doesn't have nearly the same insane depth and huge content backlog of something like Rocket League. It's almost too serious for fans of Fall Guys, and if you were going to point players toward a game in this niche subgenre, you'd almost certainly be recommending the objectively better Knockout City 10 times out of 10. Blades of the Fallen has a decent core gameplay loop and the same shitty charm that might compel a person to ironically watch The Room with 5 of their closest friends, but unless you're truly down to single figures in your bank account, have a serious need for something new, and are one of the very few people on Earth who can honestly call disco their favorite genre of music, then maybe you should just play Deep Rock Galactic instead.